soon as we realized data was going to be the new currency, to actually also frame it alongside the best practice in the world, DPI, so that whatever you do, you're not protected. So your data is not either government will actually continue supporting. We've got local data centers as I've had, including Safaricom itself. And in fact, Safaricom also pioneered in cloud infrastructure very early again, because besides the data, now you need storage. And also, where do the AI sort of users actually access this information? That is going to be in accessible storage, where obviously then you need to drive everything else from. And as a government, we realize that energy is big. So you cannot run the data, for example, or any of these search engines without sustainable energy. And that's why you see, for example, there's a huge drive towards infrastructure. And part of the infrastructure fund is actually going to fund expansion of our energy grid, so that we've got enough power to run all these systems. So as I close my speech, the next thing really is talent, which is about people, which is again about youth who are actually in the room, and I'm excited to be here. So Kenya's greatest asset is basically our people, and I dare say our youth. You guys are not the future, you guys are the present. The youth are the present, because without you, we do not have the innovation, we do not have all these forward-looking ideas. We've got one of the youngest, well-educated populations globally, and AI is opening new frontiers in the creative economy, and we saw some of the activities here, some of the skits that were done by the young people here, from gaming to film, to digital and the sort of creative arts, empowering our youth to compete and thrive globally. And I think you do not need much evidence than to see how active our social media spaces in this country. But one of the most dynamic social media spaces globally. You will compare yourselves or ourselves with the best you can get in Europe, North America, anywhere. We are as good as the world. And that is because, obviously, of our educated young population, and also a very good network provided by operators like Safaricom. So Safaricom's journey over the past 25 years reflects what is possible with innovation and also purpose. From connectivity to intelligent systems, this progress is part of a broader national movement towards a digitally empowered and inclusive society. And we really, really want to celebrate you, Safaricom, for being part of that enablement, since the whole shift has been going on. As we celebrate this milestone, one thing stands out. Kenya's AI future must be built together. No one can succeed. And some of you actually watch soccer, especially the Premier League. I'm guilty. There's one of the teams that actually say, never walk alone. I'm not their supporter, but I like the clarion call. So we must build this thing together. We must be an ecosystem. That's why they come out to you. Safaricom is huge, successful and everything. But they say, no, we need the youth, we need these developers, we need these sort of coders and all these guys to come together, because that's where the ideas will come from. And as government, we will provide policy, we will provide infrastructure, as I've said, and the industry will obviously drive innovation, all the other players that I mentioned. Academia will build knowledge, because we need that research, we need the new thinking and innovation. And our people will actually then shape adoption and drive the actual activities like what we're doing this morning. Our future will not be important. We're no longer important, especially knowledge, and especially this AI space. It will actually be imagined, built, governed right here at home, I dare say. Here's a future that's inclusive, secure, and proudly made of Kenya, that has actually also been enabled by our own very strong partner, Safaricom. Please, let's give a round of applause. Before I just say my closing remark, basically just wishing everyone well, I just want to say a few off-the-cuff remarks. I have attended a few AI international conferences in Europe. So the world is actually completely driving into AI. So the ITU, which governs telecommunication services, held a conference in Europe called AI for Good. And my minister also attended another conference in India called AI for Good. So you can language. When you sit in those forums, and I encourage, and I will actually pray that Safaricom when we're actually going for those trips, please sponsor one of these youth, those accompany us, or one or two of these youth to accompany us those meetings. We are happy to partner to just make sure, maybe put a competition and maybe one or two, and it must be gender sensitive. Let's get a lady, let's get a young man, gender balance. Let's get them out to actually see. What you actually see here, we are once again into another scramble, completely scramble, and you can see the world is all set. No one knows how deep and far this AI thing will go, but they know it's changing the world. So we're seeing very early stages of AI, it's not yet done. Very nascent, very early to come. So what must we do as a country? I think first of all is to acknowledge the existence and importance of AI. We cannot discount it. And that's why, for example, government has actually come up with an AI strategy before the policy. And I can confirm that our approach to it is not restriction, regulation, and all that. It's actually more open-ended to encourage innovation, to encourage ideas, to encourage that let's actually go get what's going on. The only way we can get to innovate and move forward is actually open system. So it's very encouraging of this sort of a forum like here. And then to really say that not to be left out, we must then have ecosystems like what I've seen today, both in private sector businesses, in public sort of enterprises, and universities, so that we train our people, we expose our people to AI very early, and we become really very well skilled and build the expertise very early before we start relying on other people. Because what will happen eventually is you get guys who are very skilled in this space, and then we start refining them as consultants when we all start at the same time. We want the global AI consultants to come from this Kenyan ecosystem. Then finally, which is really my pleasure, is how do we use this thing? How do we use this good thing? And I was giving the analogy of a driving license. You get trained, you get a license to drive. You probably are lucky to drive a decent car. Some of you maybe your generation actually loves cars. I know that. It's cars and entertainment. That's it. So you get a Lamborghini or one of those fancy cars. So you decide. Obviously, you've been guided on the right thing to do. You know road rules, yellow marks, continuous sort of yellow line, sharp corners, all these things. And now, in fact, AI is driving as well. I mean, I was in California, and there's so many unmanned vehicles, including even Ubers. So you literally comes, even buses. There's no human being. They've all been embedded in the cities. It stops. It sees when people are coming in. Time says it's about to take over and goes. So assume you're this human driver and you've been trained, you've been licensed, now you've got your Lamborghini, you're driving around. You then really have to decide, am I going to behave properly on the road to do the right thing, or am I going to knock around, anybody I see, knock walls, hit other cars and all that? And that's really the analogy of AI for good. So you're being trained about it, it's a massively powerful thing. Online, you can do anything and everything, just like how you can do anything on the road. But our urge as government is actually to say, it empowers you first to actually upskill yourself and be marketable, either to run your own enterprise or be employed with enterprises like Safaricom. And once in there, let's use that energy for the good. Let's use that energy for ourselves. Let's actually use that energy for our country so that we can move our country forward. If you step back, generations before us, our forefathers sacrificed, fought for independence, got us where we are. Our generation must be the digital natives who actually then use digital knowledge and digital power, including AI, to drive this country to the next level. And as you know, finally, I can talk more. Kenya is actually a knowledge and service-driven economy. We do not have many minerals, as you know. We don't have much oil, it's a bit in Turkana, but not enough to drive this economy. We don't have gold like our neighbors. Our gold is here. So we use our power of the mind, we use our intellect, and they call AI amplified intelligence actually, not artificial intelligence, amplified intelligence. We now amplify that intelligence for our own good. How good will it be that in fact you end up exporting many of these youth, like yourselves, across the continent, like what Safaricom is doing with M-Pesa. And Esther, I'm glad about M-Pesa Africa. You get these guys into all these countries, they're ready, they're ripe, They're not as good as we are in tech, in exposure, in education. Let's conquer Africa, let's conquer the world with knowledge, with AI, with skill that in fact we're very uniquely positioned. I thank you and God bless you.